Buckle up for a jaw-dropping tale that's been decades in the making. At 58, Janet Jackson has finally shattered the silence, peeling back the curtain on the hidden truths about her brother, Michael Jackson. For years, she played the role of the discreet sister, sidestepping the darkest chapters of their bond. But now, the floodgates are open, and the world is about to witness a story that's been simmering beneath the glitz and glamour of fame. From the tense backstage dramas to the deepest secrets of Michael's life, Janet's revelations are a roller coaster of emotions, shocking details that no one saw coming. What really went down between them? Why did Michael drift away from the family in his final years? And what fears and torments did the king of pop bury deep, never daring to share with the world? Picture this: a saga of two siblings caught in the whirlwind of stardom, their lives shaped by a relentless father and an unforgiving spotlight. In this gripping narrative, we'll dive into the most controversial and haunting moments of Janet and Michael's relationship. We'll unravel the censorship Janet faced after the infamous Super Bowl scandal, the accusations that shadowed Michael's legacy, and the heartbreaking twilight of his reign as pop royalty. Once a guarded soul, Janet now speaks with raw honesty about the manipulations, traumas, and isolation that pulled Michael away from everyone, including her. If you're hungry for the unfiltered truth the media never dared to tell, stick around until the end. The final bombshell will leave you speechless. But before we plunge into this electrifying tale, hit that like button. It's a small gesture that tells YouTube to share this story with more truth seekers like you. Not subscribed yet? Join the ride now. This is your front row seat to stories that cut through the noise, delivering the raw, unvarnished accounts that matter. And if you're feeling extra generous, drop a super thanks to fuel more exclusive scoops like this. Can't swing it? No sweat. Just leave a comment below with your biggest shock from these revelations. Let's swap thoughts and piece together the secrets of music's most legendary family. Now hold tight. Here comes the stunning exposé of Janet and Michael Jackson. Our story begins with Janet Demita Jo Jackson, born on May 16, 1966, in Gary, Indiana, the youngest spark in the wildfire that was the Jackson dynasty. From the moment she took her first breath, her life was no blank canvas. It was a script already penned by a legacy larger than life. Being a Jackson wasn't just a name, it was a mantle, a crushing weight of expectation she didn't choose but was born to carry. Growing up in the Jackson household wasn't your typical American dream. Her father, Joseph Jackson, was a steely taskmaster, a man with a vision forged in iron. He saw his children not just as kids, but as golden tickets out of poverty and into immortality. He'd already molded his older sons into the dazzling Jackson 5, and his creed was simple: discipline above all, perfection at any cost. Janet's childhood was a blur of endless rehearsals, her brothers sweating under Joseph's barked orders, punished for a missed step or an off-key note. Failure wasn't an option, it was forbidden. While other kids chased fireflies or doodled in classrooms, Janet was sculpted into a star before she even knew what that meant. Tours, spotlights, and screaming fans replaced playgrounds and bedtime stories. Anonymity? That was a fairy tale she'd never live. In rare, candid moments over the years, Janet painted a picture of a father whose presence loomed like a storm cloud. No warm hugs, no gentle encouragement, just a relentless drive for flawlessness. If you dared defy him, the fallout was fierce. She watched her siblings bend and break under his iron fist, and it etched a permanent mark on her soul, shaping what it meant to be a Jackson. Her mother, Catherine, offered a softer touch, a flicker of warmth in a home wired for fame. But even that couldn't thaw the rigid structure of their lives. Music was the sun, everything orbited around, and personal dreams were just whispers in the wind. Janet grew up knowing mistakes weren't hers to make. She had to match the towering expectations of her father and a cutthroat industry. Her first taste of the spotlight came early, performing alongside her brothers before landing a role on Good Times in the late 70s. For a fleeting moment, acting felt like a chance to be more than just a Jackson. But even there, the reins were tight, her weight, her look, her every move micromanaged. She once confessed they pushed her to slim down as a kid, drilling into her that her image was her currency, her hair, her clothes, her voice. Nothing was hers to own. Here's the twist. Janet never dreamed of belting out hits. She wanted to be a veterinarian, healing animals far from the roar of crowds. But in the Jackson playbook, that wasn't an option. Music was her destiny, whether she signed up for it or not. When Joseph decided it was her turn to sing, there was no debate. He picked the songs, the producers, the persona, and Janet obeyed. Yet, that early success didn't spark joy. It piled on more pressure. She couldn't just be good. She had to be extraordinary, because she was a Jackson. The name was a crown and a curse, every misstep judged harsher than any rivals. As a teen, she started to feel her identity slipping away, smothered by her father's grip and the towering shadow of her brother Michael. Let's rewind to Michael, her protector, her confidant, her hero. Growing up, their bond was a lifeline in a house ruled by fear. With Joseph's wrath raining down, Michael was the big brother who made her laugh, who understood the grind of a stolen childhood. They shared a silent pact, forged in the chaos of relentless rehearsals and a world that saw them as commodities, not kids. As Janet stepped into music, Michael cheered her on, urging her to carve her own path. By the 80s, she was rising as a solo star, and he was already a global titan. But he never let her feel eclipsed. His pride in her glowed bright. She'd gush in interviews about how he inspired her, how his genius lit her fire. But fame's a fickle beast, and as Michael's star soared to dizzying heights, cracks formed. By the 90s, he was cocooned in a web of advisors and lawyers, a fortress Janet couldn't breach. The playful brother she knew faded behind a wall of isolation. Still, they gave us Scream in 1995, a dazzling duet that screamed defiance. Behind the scenes, though, it was bittersweet. Filming separately, controlled by his team, Janet felt the gulf widening. The video broke records, but she sensed she was losing him to the machine of fame. Then came the allegations, child abuse claims that turned Michael's life into a circus of scrutiny. Janet stood by him, but the chaos built barriers she couldn't cross. She saw him manipulated, trapped, and powerless to pull him back. When Michael died in 2009, it gutted her. The grief wasn't just losing a brother, it was the ache of unfinished business, of a bond severed too soon. She'd tried to reach him, but something, or someone, always blocked the way. In the aftermath, Janet retreated, mourning in shadows. When she resurfaced, every note she sang carried his echo, a tribute to a love that never fully healed. Years later, in a raw documentary, she bared it all. The joy, the pain, the regret of watching fame devour him. Now, at 58, Janet's dropping the mask. She's spilling the tea on Michael's drift from the family, his unspoken fears, and the forces that isolated him. The Super Bowl? She's unpacking that too. How it torched her career while Justin Timberlake waltzed away unscathed. She's naming the manipulations, the traumas, the lonely end of a legend. This isn't just a confession. It's a reckoning. So, what's the stunner that'll floor you? Stay tuned. The truth's been hiding in plain sight, and Janet's finally letting it roar. Janet Jackson, one of the most iconic figures in pop and R&B music, played a pivotal role in breaking the somber silence that enveloped her brother, Michael Jackson, following his death in 2009. Michael, a global music legend known for timeless hits like Thriller and Billie Jean, lived a life of extraordinary highs and devastating lows, from the peak of fame to his final years shrouded in controversy and isolation. His sudden passing left a profound void in the hearts of fans and family alike, but it also cast a heavy silence as many relatives and friends chose to retreat from public attention. Amid this backdrop, Janet Jackson emerged as a steadfast defender of her brother's musical legacy, stepping forward to speak out, soothe the pain, and shed light on the obscured facets of his life. In the immediate aftermath of Michael's death, Janet displayed remarkable strength. At the widely televised memorial held at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, She stood before millions worldwide, not only to honor her brother, but also to deliver a message of love and family unity. While others in the Jackson family opted for silence or shunned the media spotlight, Janet confronted the public head-on. She openly shared her personal emotions, from the anguish of loss to her pride in Michael's contributions to music and popular culture. Her heartfelt words forged a deeper connection between Michael and his fans, offering them a perspective beyond the sensational headlines. Moreover, Janet leveraged her influence to safeguard Michael's reputation against the lingering accusations and rumors that had plagued him for years. In interviews, such as her appearance on Dateline NBC, she candidly refuted slanderous claims, emphasizing that Michael was a devoted brother, a passionate artist, and above all, a compassionate human being. Janet's advocacy extended beyond words. She honored him through her music and charitable endeavors, carrying forward the spirit Michael left behind. Her 2015 album Unbreakable, for instance, featured songs dedicated to her brother, ensuring his voice endured in the public consciousness. Janet also broke the silence by sharing lesser-known stories about Michael's life. She recounted personal anecdotes, moments of humor, familial love, and artistic passion that painted a picture of a man far removed from the distant superstar persona. These revelations shifted public perception, transforming Michael from an enigmatic figure into someone relatable, vulnerable, and vibrantly alive. Through her efforts, Janet not only revived memories of Michael, but also helped fans move past their grief by focusing on his positive legacy. Her actions carried profound cultural significance beyond personal tribute. In an era when Michael Jackson risked fading into obscurity or being distorted by controversy, Janet stood as a beacon, illuminating a path for the world to remember him as a musical genius rather than a tragedy. Thanks to her, the mournful silence that once surrounded Michael's death gradually dissipated, giving way to meaningful conversations about his life and career. Janet didn't just break the silence, she opened a new chapter, ensuring Michael Jackson's enduring love and reverence through the passage of time.